he goes to market town. You'll be on the Celtic grave. Are you ready? And when McManus comes around and he goes to market town, you'll be on the Celtic grave. Are you ready? Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales, I can hear those mothers' voices calling, children, children, children. And when the cold brick man comes round on a cold November day, you'll be on the Celtic grave. Are you ready? Are you ready? Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales, I can hear those mothers' voices calling, children, children, children. Listen, children, I want to go home. Listen, children, I want to go home. I've been away from the Celtic grave too long. I've been away from the Celtic grave too long. All over Ireland, Scotland, England and Wales, I can hear those mothers' voices calling, children, children, come home, children. Children, children, come home to the Celtic. I've been away from the Celtic grave too long. From the Celtic grave. Children, come home to the Celtic grave. Children, children, come home to the Celtic grave.
That's my uncle. I'm so excited to sing this song to you, and my heart is in my throat, so you may hear it in my voice as I sing. Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered? when wished on the morning star. Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailor? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da dum, da 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 do. All gathered around, there's something I would say that what brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. Give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked these mountains in the rain, love the wind. I've been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. would be a wonderful time to greet your neighbor as our screen comes down.
If you would join me by standing as you're willing and able, we are going to sing in the ministers and midwives. And let me teach you a quick little chant to do that. Thank you. So there's a drone for those of you who don't like to do a lot of up and down notes, and it goes like this. First of all, the words are in your order of service. So it is the rising of the moon, the shifting of the ground. Let's see, you know what, I'm gonna get it. So I have exactly what you've got. It's a chant, so it kind of changes a bit. So it's, we are the rising of the moon, we are the shifting of the ground, we are the seed that takes root when we bring the fortress down. And the drone goes like this. We are the rising of the moon, we are the shifting of the ground, we are the seed that takes root when we bring the fortress down. Sing that with me. We are the rising of the moon, we are the shifting of the ground, we are the seed that takes root when we bring the fortress down. Good. So some of you sing that, and then the rest of you are going to sing with me. We are the rising of the moon, like that. We are the rising of the moon. We are the shifting of the... I'll sing it for you, you sing it back. We are the rising of the moon. We are the rising of the moon. We are the shifting of the ground. We are the shifting of the ground. We are the seed that takes root. We are the seed that takes root when we bring the fortress down. When we bring the fortress down. And let me give you some movement so you'll remember the words. Sing with me. We are the rising of the sun. We are the shifting of the ground. We are the seed that takes root when we bring the fortress down. We are the rising of the moon. We are the shifting of the ground. We are the seed that takes root when we bring the fortress down. We are the rising of the moon. We are the shifting of the ground. We are the seed that takes root when we bring the fortress down. We are the rising of the moon. We are the shifting of the ground. We are the seed that takes root when we bring the fortress down. We are the rising of the moon. We are the shifting of the ground. We are the seed that takes root when we bring the fortress down.
Greetings, family, friends, and community, to the ordination of Alison Duren-Sutherland. Before I offer a deeper welcome, I need to call my comrades, elders, and ancestors into this space, making it holy, making it a temporary home. And today I extend that opening to Alison's lineage. That includes her father, who is an ancestor, Alan Mark Sutherland. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is my pleasure to welcome you into this space for this magical occasion. I am Kiana Danae Perkins. I am a UU ministerial aspirant and a third-year Star King student. In addition to these shared identities, Alison and I also share the distinct honor of being the first, Alison, and myself the second, interns for the Southern Oregon Partnership. In addition to this being Alison's ordination, this is also a day of convergence, a convergence of Alison's life streams, of which there is many. There's the intimate family stream, which includes her babies, partner, and family members. Alison is claimed as family by many. This includes the friendship stream, which is childhood, college, and lifelong friends who represent her growth, hobbies, and passions. Alison is claimed as a friend by many. There's the colleague stream, the UU community Alison has built over her journey that is not limited to fellow students, and the UU Ministerial Fellowship, in which Alison has earned the right to be a member of. Alison is a dedicated colleague to many. And there is the community stream. These are people Alison has impacted with their work on a local, regional, and national level. Here you will find people from both UU of Klamath County and UU of Grants Pass. Alison has impacted many. There are more streams of people from various paths in Alison's life that are also represented today, and I name your energy and call it in to the circle. We are the many who take pride and pleasure in calling Alison friend, family, colleague, and community. Alison's path to this day has not been singular, it has been many, and we represent that many. For Alison, today is a convergence of their spiritual, academic, social, and emotional energy. For us, one of the streams of support, this is a collective convergence of our love, faith, and support of Alison. Today, we combine all of these. Alison's deep and beautiful response to her call to ministry, and our unwavering support for the work she has done, and even better, for the ministry we know that she is going to do. Today, our small streams become a mighty river. Today, I welcome you into the river of accomplishments, well-earned blessings, and love that converges together to honor Alison. Welcome into the river of Alison's overflowing abundant life, which is also her Unitarian, Universalist, ministerial ordination. And for this gift of being present for Alison, I welcome you. Ashe and amen.
I'm Meg Richardson, and it is my great honor to bring greetings from Star King School for the Ministry. Alison Cole Duren-Sutherland, your fierce heart for justice drew you to Star King. You crossed our threshold in Berkeley, California, seeking an education to counter oppression and create just and sustainable communities. You moved through 8 thresholds, creating a collage of the minister before us today. Pastor, chaplain, spiritual activist, prophet, preacher, scholar, spiritual director, theologian, teacher, liturgist, and artist. Now, Alison will bless the world as she has blessed our classrooms, in person and online. For Alison, Star King was a kaleidoscope transforming her many gifts and talents she brings to the ministry into bright, dancing patterns refracted through self-reflection. Kick the bushel to the curb, Alison, and let your light shine. May the joy of this day and this occasion infuse your ministry and our movement. Amen.
Take a moment to center yourself in a land acknowledgement, not as a function of ownership or reclamation, not as an empty exercise with no accountability, but rather as a continuation of our role as stewards. Thank the indigenous and native caretakers of the land you are on and from. If you know their names, speak them, and if you do not, commit to learning them. Klamath, Modoc, Yahuskin Paiute, Shasta, Tacoma, Talawadeni, Cow Creek, Umpqua. In this moment, with your hand over your heart, commit to personally taking whatever steps are necessary towards land reparations. To our Native siblings, we say, you are still here. We will not erase you. Thank the African hands and bodies that have toiled the land, a role forced on them originally through enslavement. Thank them for the seeds they brought over, hidden and braided in their hair, seeds that still sustain us. Gratitude for the farming and stewarding wisdom we have inherited and continue to learn from. Acknowledgement that even before it came a state, Oregon's white government sought to legally prevent Black people from living on this land. The blood, sweat, and tears of Black people, these too tell the story of place. In this moment, with your hand over your heart, commit to personally taking whatever steps are necessary toward reparations. Honor their memory in this moment in humble gratitude. Here in Southern Oregon, we must also acknowledge the contributions of Chinese migrants and immigrants, early settlers who came and lived on this land, extracting mineral wealth and building the infrastructure of this nation, whose thriving communities came to an abrupt end when they were legally excluded from this land once their labor was no longer needed. In this moment, with your hand over your heart, commit to personally knowing the history of the Chinese ancestors of this place that white supremacy has sought to erase or deny. Let us also give thanks for the many migrants and immigrants from Central and South America who work the lands of Southern Oregon today, whose labor on the land is so necessary for our agricultural economy, and who are yet so vulnerable to abuse by human traffickers, employers, and agents of the state because of inhumane immigration laws that deny their right to live and work on this land. With your hand over your heart, remember the truth that many of those with their hands in the soil of our home may not by law make their home upon it, and commit to personally making it safer here for those without papers. Keeping your hand on your heart, take a moment to acknowledge that you too are land. You are the continuation of the story of place. Thank your body for the ways it holds your landscapes. Interrupt the belief that there is separation between you and nature. You are merely an extension. You are land personified. To be stewards of the land includes protecting your heart as fiercely as you would the redwoods, a beehive, the ocean. To admit we are land means we commit to tending to each other as well. In this moment, with your hand over your heart, commit to personally taking whatever steps are necessary towards tenderly tending yourself and each other.
I'm Lois Pettinger, and I'm a part of the Roof community, where I served with Alison on the worship team. Alison's daughters, Ramona and Frances, will light our flaming chalice, symbol of the Unitarian Universalism, with these words by Salman Rushdie. Love feels more and more like the only subject. At the center of my life, of my new work, of my future plans, I now find nothing else.
Well, story time. If you want to join Franny and me, you're welcome. Okay. Mother God by Teresa Kim Pesinowski, illustrated by Coaly. You know God the Father, but God is your mother too. You are made in her image. She is making all things new. Waiting for her new life to begin, God is a mother in labor. She takes deep breaths until the birth, rejoicing with friends and neighbors. Throughout the day and night, God wakes to nurse the infant at her side. She snuggles her baby gently until he closes his sleepy eyes. When baby tumbles on the floor, God pulls off each tiny socks. She holds her arms on wide, and the baby learns to walk. God is Sophia wisdom, teaching what is true and right. Wisdom works, creates, orders, and plays. She calls us with joy and delight. Over the waters of creation, God is the spirit who hovers. She forms the earth into a bed, and the white sky it covers. God is a mother hen who gathers chicks under her wings. She plays hide and seek in the soft grass, behind trees and quiet springs. She protects her cubs from danger. God, the great mother bear. As fierce as she is tender, she guards them in her care. God is a lurking leopard, secretive, skilled and strong. Teaching her young to swing and climb, she roars and they tag along. With a huge supply of flour, God kneads and bakes good bread. She feeds her entire neighborhood. They feast and all are fed. God is a skillful seamstress who stitches and sews thread together. She makes clothes of rain, snow, and sun, caring for you in all kinds of weather. Grana Baba Halmioni. God is a woman with gray hair. She passes down stories of old, rocking softly in the chair. She is the God who sees you. God weeps, mourns, and cries. She comforts you through the longest night, keeping watch until sunrise. She quiets us with her songs, singing lullabies in the night. God, our nurturing mother, wraps us in holy moonlight. God is your loving mother. You are made in her image too. God calls you beloved. She is making all things new. The end.
Welcome to this amazing day. Typically, the gifts collected at a UU ordination go to something called the Living Tradition Fund, which helps UU ministers in times of crisis and need. Alison has chosen to share the offering between the Living Tradition Fund and the SOUP, Southern Oregon UU Partnership Internship Fund, in the hope that this unique internship will endure for further aspiring ministers to honor both where she has come from and where she is going. If you are joining us online, you can send a check marked Alison's Ordination to 87 4th Street, Ashland, Oregon, 97520. If you prefer to give online, you can go to tinyurl.com/roofoffering and follow the directions there. We will now receive the offering.
But of course, you get to sing again. But this time you get to sit down. So this one goes, we are the flow, we are the air, we are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web, we are the weavers, we are the web. Good. That's the whole thing. And you even have the words in your order of service. So here we go. Ready? And we are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are... Okay, let's try it again. We are the flow, we are the air, we are the weaver, we are the weavers, we are the web, we are the weavers, we are the web. Very good. Okay, let's start again. Ready? And we are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web, we are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web. Again. We are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web. We are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web. We are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web. You can use your hands.
are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web, we are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web, we are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web, we are the flow, we are the web, we are the weavers, we are the web.
Last time.
We are the flow, we are the air, we are the weavers, we are the web.
For these gifts, and for all the gifts you bring into the world, and to this day, thank you. I want to begin with gratitude for this opportunity to participate in Alison's ordination by sharing some thoughts with you. It's been an honor to be a part of Alison's life and journey for the 6 years I've served here in Ashland, and to watch her grow into her calling and confidence as a minister. It's truly an honor to ordain and welcome her into this ministry we share. Ordination sermons are always an honor and a challenge, and they have evolved over time. I'm not entirely sure this is a good thing. In the past, the sermon at an ordination was a chance to reflect on the current theological, yes, you heard that right, I choose to use the term they-ological, with a Y, to push the word out of the linguistic binary and into a more expansive form. The ordination sermon was a chance to reflect on the current theological and lived realities of the larger movement. As an old curmudgeon who's been in the ministry for 23 years now, I've witnessed a narrowing of this purpose until most ordination sermons are more about the ordinand and their calling and gifts than about the theology or the mission and the calling of our faith. So, Alison, I will leave most of the praise of your ministry and sage advice for others to give. Though I would love to spend all day telling these people how great you are, I want to honor the original purpose of an ordination sermon, to talk about Unitarian Universalism, where we find ourselves at this moment, and what we might, if we have the courage, claim as our mission and future in response to the events in the world around us. For the first time in a very long time, our movement is exploring the question of our mission and purpose via a commission called the Article II Commission that was charged with studying and restating the part of our bylaws that explains the reason for our existence, the purpose of our association of congregations, and what those purposes might ask of us. As you know, and would probably not be surprised by, this has stirred a lot of feelings, opinions, and reactions among Unitarian Universalists. One thing we are known for is having a lot of opinions. And anytime we try to get words around the core of our values and beliefs, it's been difficult. Even so, we charged ourselves with reviewing this part of our governing document every 20 years. The last time we did so was in 1987, so we're a little late. I don't want to spend the short time I have here discussing the controversy or my observations about how UUs handle change. I instead want to imagine with you what Unitarian Universalism might look like if we accept these changes and begin to engage with our values and ethics in new ways. Instead of the list of principles, the Article 2 Commission chose to express our purpose in a circle or flower of values. You can see the values flower on the back of your order of service. I want you to notice that I used the words call us to act. It's the same word we use when we ordain a new minister. We call you, and we affirm your calling to ministry. This is because values are not just ideas, not just a list of things we agree to, even though that's the form they've taken these last 36 years. This new expression is meant to engage us in a new way with the core theological and ethical values that call us together. Instead of agreement, the Commission has tried to emphasize engagement, embodiment, and action. We don't just agree to our values, we live them. We make an offering of love, and we give ourselves to it. We live love at the center, which is the message of the image created. Love at the center, with interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity, both surrounding and upholding the work of love. Now, I want to move away from explaining and move towards what's often called exercising the moral imagination. For me, this is the fun part. Just for a moment, let's imagine what Unitarian Universalism that is centered on love and expressing it through interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity might look like and be like. The first thing I want to imagine together is what our congregations might look like if they truly became centered on love. What would our congregations feel like if they were centered in love? I think this new expression of the centrality of love would change us. We might emphasize being in right relationship with each other and with the world. We might be less judgmental and more compassionate. We might be less apt to limit ourselves to the intellectual understanding and agreement, what we think of as like-mindedness, and engage more with more expansive ways of knowing, based in experiences that move us as well as make sense to us. We might value play alongside work, learning alongside expertise, experimentation alongside evidence. We might give up our inherited skepticism of emotion and expect Sunday mornings to engage our feelings, using the power of music and the arts to help us feel connected, committed, and ready to act, to engage in response. This week, I was lucky enough to be talking with my colleague, the Reverend Molly Hausch-Gordon, who has been the minister at the UU congregation of Columbia, Missouri, for 10 years. As we caught up with each other, telling stories of both the difficulties and the joys of ministering over the past few years, Molly said, "I've been trying to make liberation irresistible." My heart soared, and I found myself repeating the words in wonder. Making liberation irresistible. I felt them stirring in me, calling me to respond. Instead of imagining working for justice as hard and liberation as exhausting, I began to imagine the joy of irresistible liberation. I began to imagine that as a new definition of ministry. I am called to make liberation irresistible. It's amazing to me how quickly these new phrases, centered in love and making liberation irresistible, broke through the exhaustion at the end of a complicated church year and filled me with energy again. And they made me want to look for more new ways to express Unitarian Universalism using some of those other words in the Article 2 revision. Transformation, which invites me to get unstuck, to learn and to grow and to change. Interdependence, which invites me to remember that none of this needs to be lonely or isolated or solitary. We gather together for support and celebration. Pluralism, which invites me to delight in difference. Generosity, which invites me to think in terms of enoughness for everyone, even abundance. And equity, everyone having the same chance to thrive, the same resources and respect with which to build their lives. This vision, these words have renewed my heart's commitment to ministry, letting me remember why I love this calling, which you and I share, Alison. And they remind me of the words of Dr. Rebecca Ann Parker, who preached the sermon at my ordination and is therefore also a part of this one. She says, "The liberation of humanness is not simply a matter of casting off an oppressor. It involves recollecting, rediscovering, and re-engaging powers of the soul that have been silenced, suppressed, split off, or denied by dehumanizing social systems. In our time, the challenge is to form programs through which people develop their capacities to experience the world critically and engage it constructively for the sake of greater fullness of life for all people." Alison, this is the spirit that calls us. Liberation, fullness of life, re-engaging the powers of the soul, all of it centered in and held by love. I have watched you grow into your own beautiful call. I see you, already part of this work, and helping me learn to remember it is play, too. I'm so grateful to be part of affirming what is already true in so many ways. You are a minister, a colleague, a partner on this journey. May you always remember your call is joyful and powerful, and may you always be centered in love, finding ways to make liberation irresistible. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
I'd just like everyone to take a minute and center themselves, take a breath, and take some time for some quiet meditation. Great Spirit of life and love that knows no beginning or end, we pause just now with grateful hearts. Grateful for the diverse paths traveled to share in this moment. Each one a unique gift in the life of Alison Cole. Grateful for this miraculous orb, from the finest mycelium thread to the towering redwoods. We honor the four directions and their elements, the earth of the north, the fire of the south, the air of the east, and the wondrous waters of the west. May we be ever mindful of the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. And we call upon the wisdom of ancestors, those gone before us, to be ever present and to abide with Alison and her family as protectors and guides. May the light of Alison's life be a balm to the world as she works towards building a diverse, inclusive, multicultural, beloved community. May the light of love shine on Alison and her precious family as they embark on this journey together. May it be so, and blessed be.
Alison, would you come forward, please? I am Donna Barrett, Board President of the Rogue Valley UU Fellowship, alongside the board presidents that served the 3 congregations of the Southern Oregon UU Partnership when Alison was our intern minister. In Unitarian Universalism, only a congregation has the power to ordain a minister, to call a person into this sacred covenant of service to our faith and its people. Alison, we have called you out from among us into the ministry.
I'm Dr. Franny House from the UU Fellowship of Klamath County. While only the congregation may ordain, the individual congregation is held in the community of communities that is the Unitarian Universalist Association. This ordination is a culmination of years of study and experiential learning under the mentorship of ministers, midwives, and scholars. Alison, your Master of Divinity from Star King School for the Ministry, the chaplaincy you learned in the birth centers and abortion clinics where you've served, and the internship you did with our 3 congregations have led the Ministerial Fellowshipping Committee of the UUA to recognize you as a minister in preliminary fellowship. We ordain you with the blessing of our denomination.
I'm Constance Palaya of the UUs of Grants Pass. Alison, beyond the congregation, beyond the denomination, the authority of your ministry comes from within you. We have witnessed your leadership, your prophetic voice, your compassionate listening, your love in action. We have seen your grace under pressure, and you have pressed us forward gracefully toward undoing systems of oppression within ourselves and our communities. You have reminded us to stay connected to our values and to each other. You have ministered to us. We know you to be a minister because we have experienced your ministry.
I'm Diane Werich, formerly of Ruth, now of Temple Emek Shalom. Alison, the wells of human wisdom from which you draw your ministry are deep. From the people of the book, changing faces of the earth and the moon, the everyday miracle of birth, equations of higher mathematics, and your own heart connection to the divine. We have called you from among us into the service of the Spirit of life and love, that you may help us into the service of the Spirit of life and love, that you may help to bring that Spirit among us and all those you serve, actively weaving and held within the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are all a part.
By vote of the membership of the Rogue Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, Alison, this congregation ordains you into the Unitarian Universalist ministry. Now, will all of you gathered rise and say together with me the words printed under the ordination in your order of service? Ready? Reverend Alison, you are ordained as a Unitarian Universalist minister.
Beloved community, it is with a grateful heart that I answer your call. May my ministry be blessed, and may it be a blessing. And so it is.
You may be seated for a second, then you're going to get up again. I want to begin by acknowledging my friend and colleague, Reverend Todd Strickland, who wrote some of these words for my ordination 23 years ago. We are bodies. We sweat, we ache, we shudder with delight, we are touched, and we touch. We communicate with our bodies, with our hands, with our faces, with our energies. The tradition of the laying on of hands brings embodiment to the act of ordination. From the ancient traditions and roots of Unitarian Universalism in the Hebrew Scriptures, we find God commanding Moses to lay his hands on Joshua. From the Christian Scriptures, we hear stories of the early Christian communities calling forth a leader from amongst them by laying hands on them. Over time, this tradition evolved into a rite of apostolic succession from one priest to another. But as Congregationalists, Unitarian Universalists assert the primacy of the community, as well as the direct involvement of the community in the transmission of the rite of ministerial calling. In doing so, we speak with our bodies, our touch, our energies, what has been spoken with words today. So, I invite you to prepare your bodies to participate in this laying on of hands. I invite you to gather your intention by taking a slow, easy breath. Now gently rub your hands together, gathering energy in your hands. As you do this, I invite you to contemplate the blessing you are about to offer Alison. Alison, will you come forward? And will you raise your arms, palms up, and prepare yourself to receive both the physical manifestation of this community's call and our blessing. Now, I invite Alison's family to come forward and place your hands on Alison. You can also help support her arms. And next, Alison's colleagues in the clergy. If you could come forward and place your hands on Alison or on a member of her family who is touching her. Next, the members of Alison's internship committee and all those who have been part of her learning and her journey to this moment. Please, midwives, intern committee members, everyone, come forward and touch someone who is touching Alison. And now, the members of these congregations assembled here, the communities in which Alison has rooted her ministries, come forward and place your hands on someone who is touching someone who is touching Alison. Please come forward. And finally, those joining us online, put your hand near your screen and know your presence is appreciated and felt as an energy that extends this circle ever wider and connects us all in a sacred moment of calling and blessing. We can make this happen.
Keep going.
Touch someone who's touching someone who's touching someone who's touching Alison. Alison, we have called you to be a minister among us. We acknowledge your gifts and know they are sufficient to be a blessing to us and to the world. May this touch remind you of the magnifying power of community, of love, of life, of the presence of the divine living through us. May you know our blessing on the gifts you bring to this ministry, and also to the hope you bring to this world when you combine your gifts with the power of your communities. Amen. Ashe. And blessed be. You may return to your seats.
We'll just stay right here.
Don't go, Alison. Come back up here. In our tradition, it is an honor to be the old minister who welcomes a new minister into the community of colleagues with a handshake. But that seems a bit formal for this context. And so I welcome you as a colleague with a hug. Another tradition is the presentation of gifts and perhaps some of the garments of ministry. I was trying to think of a good word for that. And I think we have some folks with gifts. Donna Barrett. And Emily Boise. Goldberg. It's very beautiful. Thank you. There are two more traditions. You may take a seat. The charge to the minister and the charge to the movement.
My name is Reverend Jeanette Bessinger, and it's my deep honor and joy to take part in this sacred ceremony. Alison and I met as graduate students. I was first treated to her smiling presence and gracious support as a teacher's assistant in a few of my classes. We were also in a spiritual direction group together, and over time, we learned that we shared many of the same values, and we've taken turns supporting each other in the hard work of religious leadership and social justice. After her graduation, I became her spiritual companion as she made her way through the UUA credentialing process. And here we are. Alison, on this day of your ordination, I say thank you for stepping courageously into your call, because we need you. Your efforts, your gifts, your essential beingness will be a blessing in this bruised and tender world, in Unitarian Universalism, and in your communities. As you step into the service of your ministry, I charge you to step equally into the resounding love of the earth that supports you, of the goddess who surrounds you, and of the people who sustain you. I charge you to move from your huge, generous heart of love with discernment, trusting that the presence, words, and actions you offer in the moment have value for their own sake, separate from any outcomes that lay beyond our control. As a person with both skin and education privilege and identities that have historically been marginalized in dominant culture, I charge you to recognize your power, authority, and humility in religious leadership as three faces of the same mantle as you continue your strong work to counter oppressions and support the liberatory conditions for all of life. I charge you to continue to lean into your inner artist who helps us and you to see both beautiful and difficult things with creativity and fresh eyes. I charge you to ask for help when you need it and to be open to receiving it from any direction, including the surprising and the unexpected. I charge you that in times when you may not feel an easy fit with those around you, to trust in the beauty and the value of your own uniqueness, and to see that as an invitation to forge beloved community where it may not have been before. I charge you to lean into your own bright disposition in easy times, and to remember the strength of your radical gratitude in challenging times. And finally, I charge you to keep a living flow between that gorgeous love that you shine out into the world and the gorgeous love that shines back to you from the world. May you be blessed and joyous in this calling, Alison. I thank you equally for the deep passion and compassion that you bring to it. Enjoy this moment. You've so earned it. And trust yourself. Your heart knows the way. Blessed be.
Dear friends, I'm honored to speak with you today and to be in your presence. Alison, thank you for inviting me to this wonderful occasion. This day is extraordinary because the UU community receives one of Star King School for the Ministry's brightest students, Alison Duren-Sutherland. I've had the honor of hearing Alison's sharp intellectual comments and critiques in a classroom setting. Alison, like me, believes in the Divine Mother Goddess. Like me, Alison has had some deep spiritual experiences and has been called to serve the Divine Mother Goddess in this life. It is often hard for people to understand the goddess and her relationship with the earth. Unlike many theologies, the goddess is not seated in some heavenly paradise, animating the world from beyond. She self-mutates and transforms herself to the very dust of the earth. She transforms her very being into the leaves of the trees, into birds and bees and all things sentient and insentient. Thus, the world that we touch and feel, the world of form and phenomena, is not dead matter. But for us, it is our dear Mother Goddess. It is sometimes hard for people to understand why we see the earth and all things as forms of the goddess. It is also hard for people to comprehend why we see her in the dust of the earth, why we care for forests and trees, for lakes and streams. So I urge you, my dear UU community, to make space for Alison and for all those whose religious traditions are earth-centered. I charge the UU community to exercise patient understanding and empathy, and to remember that the earth for us who follow the Divine Mother is divine and sacred. And for you, my dear Alison, I charge you with remembrance. Remember to see the Mother in all things, as it says in one of the Upanishads. She is fire and the sun and the moon and the stars. She is the air and the sea and the creator, Prajapati. She is this boy, she is that girl. She is this man, she is that woman. And she is this old man too, tottering on his staff. Her face is everywhere. She is the blue bird, she is the green bird. With red eyes, she is the thundercloud. She is the seasons and the seas. She has no beginning, she has no end. She is the source from which the worlds evolve. Few things are not said in this Upanishad. And what they do not say is that she is also darkness and pain, fear and shame. And when your little heart is tired of molding darkness and changing it into light, I pray you find rest in the embrace of our dear Mother. May the trees and the grass beneath your feet renew your light. May the wind lift up your spirits, and may you find comfort in friends, family, and the UU community. Dear Alison, you are her light, her very hands and feet. May her light shine in and through you, outwards and beyond. May your very presence mold Mother Earth and the hearts of those who you will serve. I charge you with brightness, with the brightness of 1,000 suns. May your journey commence with light. Journey. Victory to the Divine Mother. Congratulations.
Please find a teal hymnal somewhere near your feet and turn to page 1064, Blue Boat Home. Now that you've all found it, if you'd like to stand as you're willing and able, that'd be a lot more fun.
The my sail and moon my rudder as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great wind surging me on, breathe the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue old home.
Will you join me in the spirit of prayer? Spirit of life and love, greater than all, and yet present in each, divine of my own understanding, great Mother God. I come before you today overwhelmed by the spirit of gratitude. Gratitude for the path you laid before me, through mathematics and midwifery, down into the earth, your sacred body, and here, into the embrace of this beloved community of family, friends, siblings in faith. Thank you for bringing me and us here today. Thank you for planting within me the love that has grown into a family, the love that has grown into a ministry, the love that urges me forward to engage in the work of building the beloved community. As we go forth today, may I and may we do justice, love boldly, and move into the future with love in our hearts. Love beside us. Love the path. Love the companion along the way. May it be so. And so it is.
Friends, our sacred time has ended, and now it's time to celebrate. Come on! And those of you who are setting up for our nice feast and our potluck, you can leave now. Everybody else, just hang on a second. It will just take a minute to get everything ready there by our wonderful preparers. Those who need to use the restrooms, they're right out through the gallery here. You can get to them conveniently. And if you would like to greet Alison, as we expect many of you would do, we'll leave that aisle on the right-hand side open for any line that might form to wish her well and move on. Let's see. So that's fine. And those of you who need to get out right now can use the center or the side aisles so that we can leave that one open. Thanks, and we're so excited to now celebrate